doing next time. So let me start by telling you a bit about the structure of the book. The book of Proverbs is an example of biblical wisdom literature, which is a genre of biblical literature that seeks to give us wisdom, believe it or not. And Proverbs is the most practical and foundational piece of wisdom literature. It's most foundational to understanding of what wisdom is and how to apply it. Chapters 1 through 9 of Proverbs teach us how to approach the Proverbs. When I say the Proverbs, I'm talking about chapters 10 through 29, which are those series of sayings that are like, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. Pride comes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. Those sort of sayings. There's 9 chapters that teach us just how to approach those sayings. And then the final chapters, 30 and 31, tell us how to respond to the Proverbs. And so when I say the Proverbs, I'm talking about chapters 10 through 29, which are those sayings. That's what a proverb is a short saying. And so this section that we're starting in right now, verses 1 through 7, is the introduction to the book, and it's describing the role of biblical wisdom, more specifically proverbial wisdom in our lives. So verse 1 says, "The Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel." The wisdom found in this book is not of Solomon himself, but of God. Because if you recall in 1 Kings chapter 3, Solomon prays to God asking for wisdom, and God grants him this. And so this wisdom is coming straight from God through Solomon. And so we ought to take it very seriously, because this is, at the end of the day, God's wisdom that he's given to us. Verse 2a says, "To know wisdom and instruction." And so first, I think before we go on, we have to answer the question, what exactly is wisdom? Wisdom is defined as the application of knowledge. Now, what does it mean to apply something? Application is action. So to be wise is to act wise. If you don't act wise, you are not wise. There is no difference between being wise and acting wise. Wisdom is action. It's applying biblical knowledge to your own life. So if wisdom is the application of knowledge, we have to acknowledge that we, living right now in the 21st century, have more knowledge available to us than anyone else in human history, and it's not even close, because we have the internet. So we have access to virtually all the knowledge that humanity has accrued up to this point. And we have things like, Wikipedia and Pew Research Center, the Encyclopedia Britannica, right? We have an immense and indescribable amount of knowledge at our disposal. And if you remember the parable of the talents and the servants, in which the master gives different servants different amounts of talents, and what the master expects from the servant back in return is directly proportional to how many talents each servant is given. And so the takeaway then, Jesus said, was, to whom much is given, much is expected. And so therefore, if we've been given more knowledge than any other group of people in human history, then we have a greater responsibility to apply that knowledge to be wise than anyone else in human history. Verses 2b through 3a say, "To perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom." Now, what does it mean to perceive the words of understanding and to receive the instruction of wisdom? How do we go about this? Well, this is a question that's sort of left unanswered, because this 1 through 7 is defining the role of Proverbs in our lives. So what we can glean from this is that the answer to this question of how we can perceive the words of understanding and receive instruction of wisdom, the answer to that is lined out in chapters 1 through 9. And so don't fall into the trap of thinking that this is a simple question, because it's not. Because the answer to this question takes 9 chapters of infallible, expositional, and poetic writing to fully disclose. And it's what I'll be talking to you about for the next few classes. Yeah, this is not simple stuff whatsoever. So just be aware of that and treat Scripture with the reverence that it deserves. Thank you.